YouTubers, viewers, I'm going to try and do this short because I've tried this video once already and it didn't work. It just didn't work. I had to stop and get a night's sleep and do it again. So, completely useless information. But I got some stuff and I'm going to show it, and I've got something to say about the next video that I'm going to do, which I'm pretty proud of. And I got a gift. Let's start with the gift. Let's start with the gift. I got a Christmas present from Dave, also known as Infected Flinch. Now, I've done some voice stuff for Dave in the past, and we're doing another project at the moment with another couple of YouTubers and non-YouTubers, just people who do voice stuff for Dave. So I'm in touch with him, and I enjoy doing that. I have a very good time recording, and I am impressed by the things that Dave thinks of and the things that he makes. And so I'm doing myself a favor, and I'm doing Dave a favor, I hope. And the end result is always impressive. It's always fun to watch, and it's good. And the next project that is coming up is super interesting. I've seen stuff, and I've heard stuff, which is cool because, lending our voices to this, and Dave makes it a really interesting thing to experience. So I like that. And Dave sent me a gift for Christmas. Now, I know Dave, and Dave has always sent me gifts that makes me wonder, does Dave really like this stuff? Or does he realize that it's like... I don't want to say bad. I mean, all the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire games, it's not something that I play every day, but they're fun. But these? These I got from Dave, and Dave took the trouble of wrapping them and sending them to me. They were a proper gift, sale of the century, and the price is right. We don't get these shows in the Netherlands on TV, so I've never seen this stuff. But these are DVD games, so you put them in your computer or in your DVD and you play them as a game. I might try them. May not be this Christmas, but Dave, nonetheless, thanks for thinking of me. I really appreciate that. I really like working with you, and these are just a nice thought, and I like that. And I had a laugh because I assume that is what you meant by these. I still have everything that you gave me, Dave, so these will probably end up in the Dave pile. Next, in my last video, I talked about ordering a game from Psytronik, and I was less amused by the length of time that it took for the game to get here. It actually took a month before I started seriously getting to the point where I was demanding either the product or my money back. And I have to say that James from Psytronik was completely cool with it. He said, well, I did send you the game in the end. It just hadn't arrived yet. So we assumed that it was lost in the post, but he offered to send me another copy anyway, free of charge, which was very, very nice of him. Lo and behold, a day after I upload my video about it, the original game arrives. So I said to James, Jason. I said, well, when the other one arrives, I'll just ship it back. So that came within a week, and I shipped it right back. But I got Barnsley Badger, another Trevor Story Georg game, Barnsley Badger on disc. I always buy the disc copies. I know I can get a £30 cartridge copy, but I just don't. £30 is a lot of money, and then I have to get it shipped, which is another £10. It's a bit too much. This I can live with. Of course, I get the electronic copy and I play that, but having the physical thing in my hand is really nice. And it looks really good. It's a sleeve, it's a disc. I can take it out, but it's just a disc. Has a little label on it and an instruction how to load and a bit of artwork by Trevor, and it's really nice. It also comes with a card with some art, which is also the manual. It's about an evil emperor who had a mask made and it was shattered into pieces, and now we have Barnsley the Badger, who is a lowlife, and he hears about a piece of the mask being found, so he goes around the map in the graveyard and tries to find all the pieces of the mask. There are loads of pickups and monsters and vegetables, keys, levers, dog bones, catapult, ammo, gold coins. There are lots of stuff to think about and to program. So that's nice. And it comes with a little... These are cheat cards for this one. They're basically a promotion card for Free 64, the Commodore 64 magazine. And these cheat cards have pokes on them that you can apply to games like Bruce Lee. So nice. So I'm happy again. Happy with Psytronik. I'm gonna buy the next game from the Moonspire, which is out now. And there's another game out, also Trevor's Story, but with another programmer. It's a dungeon crawler. I think it's very impressive to be able to do that on the Commodore, but I'm just not so into that type of game, so I won't be getting that, but I will be getting Moonspire, and as soon as that arrives, I'll do a gameplay. I have to do a gameplay on Barnsley Badger as well, so I'll do that. Do that. And then I was chatting with Ben from T-Rex Space Station, and I was talking about how systems that were marketed for 3D, like the Nintendo 64, but also the Wii and PlayStation 1 even, and these systems were made to do 3D, in which they didn't do so well at the start, but better at the end of their lifespans. But what they really shine at is 2D. And Ben mentioned this game, Muramasa, the Demon Blade, and I remembered that I played this game once. I still have a download of this, which I play on my modded Wii, and this is one of those games that I really want to have a physical copy of, and I've played it. And this is one of those games that that doesn't, that defies sort of the labels that go for games. You can choose to play as a guy or a girl, which is a very popular theme at this moment, because many people find that difficult, to be forced into a gender inside a game. I don't mind that at all. This game leaves you a choice. You can be the girl or the guy. I haven't read or listened to the story, just went into the game. It's a 2D flip screen and side-scrolling game. It's a fighting game. As soon as enemies appear, you have to fight them with your sword. The moves that you can perform, the blocking, the crouching, the special moves. It's almost like a fighting game. It gets it's fast paced. You can select whether you want to play it like in hardcore mode or or easier mode. I chose the easier mode. Just it's hard enough. It's very Japanese. Loads of Japanese text, Japanese music. Graphically, extremely impressive because the Wii is more than capable of doing games like these. And I've played like through the first, to the first save point. It gets very busy. There's loads of enemies, and the color scheme. It's a very colorful game, but the enemies are like blue grayish, and you are blue grayish. And when there's 5 enemies and you're jumping around, it can be hard to keep track of where you are as a player. The jumping is spot on. The controls are very good. You can make jumps. You can do attacks. You can defend. An extremely, extremely interesting game. I think that it will get very, very hard. And I also think that Ben may do a proper review of this game with gameplay and everything. So keep an eye on his channel because I have a feeling, I don't know anything, but I have a feeling that he's going to do it. So recommendation for the Wii, an older console. Homebrew. I made the code for full screen soft scrolling on the Commodore 64. Finally got it to work. I finally understand how it's supposed to work. It doesn't look perfect, but it soft scrolls to the left, full screen, which is a feat in itself. And I'm going to make an explanatory video on that to get from the basics to the end result. How do you text scroll a full screen to the left on the Commodore 64? There's a lot involved because the Commodore 64 isn't fast enough to hard scroll an entire screen without it getting messy. So you have to think of something, and I did, and I've got that code. Really proud of that because I've wanted to be able to do that for all of my life, or starting from the moment that I got to know the Commodore 64. And I know that a lot of people who are programming for this or learning how to program are triggered by getting that soft scroll working, and it's hard. It's not as easy as it seems. I should say that. So that is interesting, and that'll be the subject of another video. Which will be a very technical video again, so if you're not into that, then skip it. But if you just like listening to me explaining that stuff, then there'll be code, there'll be examples, there'll be stuff, I'll be typing stuff and all that. So I hope you enjoy that. Space news, I suppose. John Glenn died. One of the, he went up before the Apollo mission, so he was in the Friendship launch. I just watched the Friendship launch. You see a guy in a rinky-dink spacesuit, in a rinky-dink rocket, and going up. It's amazing that they did that. NASA have asked people to come up with ideas of how to dispose of poo in space. I've always wondered about that. How do astronauts take a leak? That's not so much of a, you can imagine you leak into something and then it's done. But number 2, how do you take a crap in space? Now, the main problem, they've had solutions for this from day one, because in an emergency situation, I believe that an astronaut has to be able to spend up to 6 days inside a spacesuit. Now, you can't stay 6 days inside a spacesuit. They have these diapers on, so you can wee in a diaper, but you can't crap in a diaper, because having the crap rub up against your skin for 6 days is going to be a big, big problem. So you can't. It's a risk. If the toilet doesn't work, the mission is aborted, right? So, and they had like the ass gasket, which is like a plastic bag that you stick to your butt and you crap in it. But because you don't have gravity-assisted separation mechanisms in space, the actual turd doesn't separate from the sphincter. So you have to do that manually. Oh, man. And then all kinds of gases appear, and you have to... so they thought of something to put in with the bag, and then you have to massage it with your hands, and it's a clear bag so you can see everything. It's a very messy business. So from John Glenn, who went through all that, yay, let's go into space, and then up there, how am I going to take a crap? You know, he's the kind of guy who had to sort of live with the first things, but he's dead now. He died this week, I think. So rest in peace, John Glenn. Thank you for all your great stuff. To Taking Craps in Space by NASA. And also what I saw today was a flyover of a section of Mars, which has the Welsh name for March, which I can't pronounce. But it's the section, it's a section on Mars where they believe water flowed in the distant past. And they did sort of a flyover video with information based on actual ESA pictures that were taken from a satellite. And I was thinking, if you showed that to someone from the 1950s, that would blow their minds, you know, that we can actually see the surface and fly over the surface of Mars, you know, virtually. That is just amazing. That blows my mind. So, but there's videos on YouTube that show you that. It's interesting. What else? Loads of other stuff. I don't know. I could keep talking, but I won't. I will stop here because I think it's been long enough. And so stay tuned. Oh, wait a minute. Before I forget, I made a deal with Giles Evo Halo last night that he would start designing Highlander sprites for a Commodore 64 game. Now, I'm going to just plunk them into the Supernatural code. I can do that. So our little Dean guy will look like the Highlander. It'll be great. It'll be the start of the first game that Giles and I do, and we can. You can. Barnsley Badger was made by two people. Yeah, so you need one person who can code. The other does the art and the story, and thinks of the concept of the game, and the other guy programs it. And then you need a third guy to do the music, you know. But music on the Commodore 64, there are music players. It's just code that is written usually by the musician, but if you have the code, the musician can just make the music, and you just get a block of code and you add that to your program, and it runs in the background, interrupt driven, and it just works. Playing music actually doesn't take a very long time because all you have to do is read the notes and the instrument information, and then use timing to either activate or deactivate the notes. And there's some details, you know, because you can add a fourth voice by messing with the volume and stuff, but it doesn't take so much time. So it's you can have kick-ass music, which just takes up a lot of memory, but not a lot of time. So, but a Highlander game, how about that on the Commodore 64? Announced here, and I don't know if it'll ever be finished, but I want to finish one game before I'm 90, right? So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.